All right, this section is 6.4, and we are going to be comparing linear and nonlinear functions. So the graph of a linear function shows a constant rate of change. So that means that it's going to be a straight line. A nonlinear function does not have a constant rate, so its graph is not a line. Okay, so the first way we're going to determine if a function is linear is by a table. So if you look at letter A, does the table represent a linear or nonlinear function? Explain. So if you look at your x's, they increase by 3 every time. If you look at your y's, they decrease by 8 every time. As x increases by 3, y decreases by 8, the rate is constant, so it's linear. B, x goes up by 2 each time, y goes up by 9, and then 22, and then 55. So as x increases by 2, y increases by different amounts. So that means that the rate of change is not constant, so it is non-linear. Example 2, if you're looking at a graph, does the graph represent a linear function? If you look at A, it's not a line, so it's not linear. B, it is a straight line, it is linear. Okay, so if you want to try on your own, stop the video now and try 1, 2, and 3. Those of us, if we're not quite sure, let's go ahead and do these together. Okay, number 1, it looks like number 1 increases by 7, 7, 7. So my x's all increase by 7. My y's go down by 5. So it's linear, right? And my explanation is as x increases by 7, sorry about my handwriting, your y decreases by 5. So that would be your explanation. So number 2, my x's increase by 2 each time. My y goes down by 4, goes down by 4. My y's go down by 4 each time. So you would say that it is linear and that as your x increases by 2, your y decreases by 4. Number 3, this is not a straight line. It goes up and then it comes back down. So this would be non-linear. And my reason would be graph is not a line. All right, let's continue on. Example 3, identifying a nonlinear function by looking at an equation. So remember earlier in this section or in this chapter they talked about you need to be able to write the equation in y equals mx plus b form. Okay? So if you look at letter A, y equals 4.7, we can graph that. That's a straight line. Right? It's just a horizontal line across where 4.7 is. B, 3.14 times x, that would be the same. That would be linear. C, if I made a table, that is not going to be similar. So if I made a table, my x and my y, if my x is 1, my y is 4, right? If my x is 2, my y is 2. If my x is 3, my y is 4/3, right? Or 1 1/3. So you can see that it's, as x goes up by 1, y goes down by 2, and then it doesn't go down by 2. So that would be nonlinear. And then we could just rewrite this as y equals 4x minus 4, and that is in y equals mx plus b form. So that is why C would be your correct answer. Example 4. Account A earns simple interest. Account B earns compound interest. The table shows the balances for 5 years. Graph the data and compare the graphs. So they went ahead and graphed it. Both graphs show that the balances are positive and increasing. The balance of account A has a constant rate of change of $10, so the function representing the balance of A is linear. The balance of B increases by different amounts each time, so that is nonlinear. Okay, and you can kind of see it kind of curves upward a little bit. It's not a straight line. Okay, let's look at on your own and see which one of these are linear. Again, if you want to try these on your own, stop the video now, and you can check them when you get finished. So number 4 is already in y equals mx plus b form, so this would be linear. Number 5, let's take a look. If I have my x and my y, if I did 0, that would be 0, right? If I did 1 as x, that would be 4/3. If I did 2, that would be 8/3. So as you can see, it goes up by 4/3 and then it goes up by 4/3 again. If I did 3, that would be 12/3. So as you can see, it goes up by the same each time. So this would also be linear. Number 6, you have an x squared right here. As soon as you see an exponent on your x, it's not going to be linear. So right away you can say it's non-linear. The line's not going to be a straight line. And there's no way to go ahead and write that in y equals mx plus b form. Okay, there you go. Thanks.